3 and 4 after I left the ship, Benfold won the award for best ship in the entire U.S. Navy. The crew got better after I left. And after the Spokane Trophy was announced, I got an email from my admiral. He says, Mike, congratulations on winning the Spokane Trophy. But he said, don't get too cocky and arrogant. When I had command of a ship in the Atlantic Fleet, my ship won the Battenberg Cup, which is the award for best ship in the Atlantic Fleet. He said, until you can beat my score in gunnery, they got the award for the highest gunnery award in the entire Navy of 103.6. And he said, until you can beat my score in gunnery of 103.6, I don't want to hear from you, and I don't want to hear from USS Benfold. Well, I never told the gunnery crew how to do it. I just taped that email to the gun mount. 3 weeks later, went out and shot gunnery, shot 104.4, which to this day is still a Navy record. And I let the gunnery crew write the email response back to the admiral, letting him know what he could do with his Battenberg Cup. We got featured in the Harvard Business Review and Fast Company magazine. And pretty soon, literary agents started calling. They said, you ought to write a book. I remember thinking, get real, I'm from the U.S. Navy. I grew up in Altoona, Pennsylvania. I grew up in a house of 10 people, 7 women and 3 men, and we had 1 bathroom in our house growing up. And when I got out of the Navy and was able to buy my first home, it had 4 bathrooms in it. And I visited every one every day just because I could. And so the thought of me writing a book was never in the cards, but after 6 or 7 agents called, I thought, what the heck, why not? So I called my mom. She was 80 years old at the time. I said, Mom, I'm getting out of the Navy. She says, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to write a book. She said, you don't even read books. But It's Your Ship has been out 13 years, and the publisher thought I might sell 20,000 copies if I bought the first 10,000. And in the 13 years it's been out, it's now sold over 1 million copies. It's published in 7 different languages. I wrote a second book on leadership called Get Your Ship Together. And I'm working on the 3rd book. It's going to be called Ship Happens. And if anybody buys that one, the last book is going to be called Ship for Brains. But I've gotten a lot of neat feedback since It's Your Ship first came out. And about 7 years ago, I got an email from a small business owner. He says, Mike, I do pretty well. I've got 20 associates. Last year I had $2 million in revenue. He said, the problem is I work from 4 in the morning until midnight, 6 days a week. And he said, a year ago, my sister gave me a copy of your book. And she said, look, you're doing well, but you're never going to be able to improve because your whole business depends on you and your heroics and how many hours a day you work. She said, you micromanage your people to death.